Hello, my name is Maya. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I want to talk about Selling Sunset, and specifically, I want to talk about the women of Selling Sunset. You may not know this about me, but I actually like a lot of reality TV, but only very specific ones. I was going to do a video on The Ultimatum, but honestly, I just couldn't bring myself to say the things that I wanted to say about those people. I kind of just felt like they're already going to get attacked on multiple fronts by multiple people for their behavior, and some of them rightfully so, and it just didn't sit well with me. I know that they're like reality TV and they're putting themselves out into the public for public criticism and that it's justified to talk about the reality TV. However, I'm not a big fan of like bashing real people like I would a fictional character. However, when it comes to Selling Sunset, I just felt like I had a lot to say, and also it's not that I don't feel as bad, but I don't have such negative things to say, and the things that I do have to say that are negative, I feel like are very warranted criticisms that I feel like they're not attacks. It's more just like I just want to talk about them as people and them in the show and just kind of the show in general, and kind of because I think that they all present very different types of people and kind of different walks of life, but they're all on this crazy real estate $1 million market. So that's another reason I don't feel super bad about talking about them. They're making a lot more money than I ever will. So I'm okay with it. Obviously, when I'm talking about these people, I'm talking about their on-screen personas. I don't know these people in real life. I will probably never know any of them in real life, and I don't ever want like to be mean or anything. So when I say something that is maybe a criticism of someone's character, it is the criticism of their on-screen character, and I can't say whether or not they are like that in real life. So what I thought I would do is I thought that I would go through each of the women and kind of give like a brief kind of my thoughts on them, kind of give a brief of their personality and their time on the show and stuff like that, because I just want to talk about them. But I'm going to go in order of newest to the show to oldest on the show, just so we can have like the more prominent people kind of later on, because I don't have as much to say about the newer people as I do about like the older people. I will begin now. I'm going to start with obviously Chelsea, who is the newest to the show. She came in season 5. So here's the thing. I disliked a lot about Chelsea, and a lot about what I disliked about Chelsea had to do with her relationship with Christine and the way that she handled certain situations. I do not think that Chelsea is necessarily a bad or vindictive person. The level of ill will that I would place upon like Christine towards the other women, I don't think Chelsea has that. I don't think that she has a lot of ill will towards them. I just think that she's very misguided, but she doesn't think she's misguided. And I also think that like she just has this like personality about her that makes a lot of like what she says kind of come out maybe not the wrong, kind of the wrong way, or kind of just like for me, it kind of triggered a little bit in me, because I have met people in my life who kind of talk and act kind of similar to Chelsea, and they were not nice to me. So I don't know, there was a lot about like the way she acted. As I said, I think that there's some great things about Chelsea. I will say that she is a really hard worker. Like, she hustled, she sold houses with like no brokerage, and then she hustled to join the Oppenheim group, and I think that, that's great. I obviously think being a working mom, even though I'm going to get into a bit why I think her statements about being a working mom are a little bit not the best in my opinion, but I always admire people who are working moms. She seems like she's a good mom. She seems like she loves her children. She loves her husband. And, as I said, she seems very highly educated. She's a go-getter. She gets stuff in her life. and she works hard, and I will never ever discount that in someone. And I think that that's a great quality to have. I just think that she rubbed me the wrong way, more maybe for personal reasons and also just for Christine reasons. And I think that the Christine reasons are not fully her fault, maybe a bit of the producer's fault, but I don't think the Christine reasons are fully her fault. So basically, when we get introduced to Chelsea, she meets Christine, our villain, at a open house, and immediately they hit it off. Chelsea has kind of the same energy and look as Christine. So Chelsea wears very elaborate outfits that I will never want to be seen in public in, but Chelsea does, and so does Christine, and immediately they see this kindredness in them. They're both very outspoken. They're both mothers. They just bond. They're both real estate agents. They bond over the place. They bond together, and immediately they form this connection. And obviously, Christine, who literally has burned every bridge at the Oppenheim Group, is like, well, I need Chelsea on my team. And obviously, you know that because Chelsea's on this fucking show, she's getting the job because the producers have already vetted her. But we have a storyline. So let's follow the storyline. So Christine basically wants to get her job at Oppenheim Group, and Chelsea is all for it. She wants to move up. She's been doing real estate in somewhere. I can't remember where, but she's been selling, I don't know, like around the same $1 million type homes as they are in the Oppenheim Group. So she's basically a perfect fit, and her wardrobe, you know, does fit the bill. So yeah, she bonds with Christine. We learn about her past. She has a master's degree. She moved from London. Her mom was like a really hard worker, and I love that. She's like very inspired by her mom. She married this guy she met on Tinder. When she moved to America, he is filthy rich. That's another thing she has in common with Christine. However, the thing that she doesn't have in common with Christine is I think she actually loves her husband. I'm blown, I know. Imagine that, marrying someone for love. Ooh, lots of thoughts. And she has 2 kids. Yeah, so she's newish to the real estate game, but when she said that when she arrived from London, she went to like her first $1 million home listing with her rich husband. She looked around and she thought, I don't fit in. I don't dress the way that they dress here. I don't talk the way that they talk here. And she really went full ham and decided that she was going to become one of those people, and she stuck to it. That's kind of her as a person. So let's just talk a little bit about her actions. I found a way to put my thoughts, but there were a few kind of moments this season that really made me be like, oof, Chelsea, but why? So first of all, like her relationship with Christine, I understand and admire that she is a very passionate and loyal friend, and I think that's great. I think that having your friends back and meeting someone and truly like, you know, forming that relationship and wanting to be in their life and kind of seeing the best in them is great. But also, I don't think that the way that she handled a lot of situations was very great either. I don't think that anyone should ever speak for someone else. Like, why were there so many instances where Chelsea would bring up problems with the other girls, like on Christine's behalf, and every time she got called out for it, she'd be like, no, I'm not doing it for Christine. Like, Christine didn't ask me. I'm doing it because I'm just like speaking my mind. And it's like, no, you're doing it because you're butting in on someone else's business. It's great that you support your friend, and you can absolutely do that, but that doesn't mean that you have any right to go in and confront the people on the other side of the fucking business about like someone else's problem with someone else. This is why the women were so wary of her. And like that fucking tea party that she had where she like just came at Davina about like her relationship with Christine, and then when Davina and her went out for like lunch, she was completely dismissive of Davina's feelings and thoughts about how she felt like she was being bullied. And it's like, hey, no one's perspective of how like they feel that they have been hurt or like attacked is ever wrong, you can absolutely be like, this was not my intention. But you have to acknowledge the other person's feelings. You can't just be like, no, you're like insane. You didn't see this at all. This is not what happened in the slightest. So I think the way that she handled that was like stupid and really annoyed me. And honestly, that's kind of what triggered me there, because like, it's like you're like, Davina's feelings are valid. You might not like her feelings, you might not agree with her feelings, but they are valid, and you have to, when presented with them, see her point of view. You can't just like completely wipe it away. And I think it was just really rude and dismissive of her, and I really don't think that she should have put her fucking nose into that business anyways. Like, who the fuck cares if Christine and Davina are having problems? Like, focus on your relationship with Christine. Your relationship with Christine has nothing to do with Christine's relationship with Davina. And I understand that you're trying to be a good friend, but that is not your place, and it's not like something that you need to do. And I just didn't like how she butted in on that business. Like, I think it was really, really stupid and presumptuous, especially because she didn't know any of the other girls. So like, I'm sorry, but like, you have no right, like literally no right, to go in and confront all these people about their problems with Christine. And she kept bugging Mary too, and obviously Mary is like very traumatized about her relationship with Christine, and same with Heather, and like doesn't want anything to do with Christine, but Chelsea keeps fucking poking the bear, and it's like, just stop. You can defend yourself and you can worry about your own relationships, but worrying about other people's relationships is absolutely none of your concern. That was like my main thing with her, is I didn't like that. I fucking hated it. It made me so mad. But as I said, I don't think that Chelsea's a bad person, and I think that she did kind of get a bit of a villain at it because she was paired with Christine, and I understand that that is not something that she can fully control. And I will say that once we got to the reunion and she was untethered from Christine, I will say like I liked her a lot more, just because she didn't feel too much like Christine's lackey. And I understand that she'll deny that she was, but and from my viewpoint and in my eyes, what I saw on the show, and this is only coming from what I saw on the show, right? So obviously I don't know any of the background information, whatever, it just felt a lot like she was that. It's great to support your friend, but like, when confronted with a situation where clearly your friend is lying and clearly your friend is in the wrong, you can like admit that, you know? Like, you don't have to go all the way. Being a good friend means also calling them out on their fucking bullshit, you know? We appreciate the drama that was brought, of course, because we're not here to watch people actually sell real estate, okay? There were some moments where I thought she was being very nice and very sweet, and there were some moments where I did think that like she did put in a bit of effort to get to know the other women, and I know that she's like built relationships since the show has gone off, and that's great. So I hope that was a fair enough critique of her. I think that with time and maybe with some hindsight, she'll kind of maybe realize where her faults lie. Anyways, let's move on to Emma, someone I actually do like. I love Emma. I was unsure of her when she first got introduced. I was like, okay, she's giving me like Christine kind of 2.0 vibes just from the way that she looks, right? But no, she surprised me. She's funny, she's sweet, she's caring, she built great relationships with everyone. When confronted with drama, she dealt with it maturely and in the best way possible that she could. She went through a lot of shit that was like unjustified from Christine, because like I don't believe Christine's story, I believe Emma's story. And like, to think that like she was getting all of this abuse from Christine for just dating someone that Christine used to date is wild to me. And you know, like, she was just so sweet, and she honestly, like, she was really, really a hard worker. She had her fucking vegan empanada business, and like she was also doing real estate. I will say I don't like that she just flew around in private jets. Like, I understand the flex, but like also like the environment, girl. But you know, honestly, like, she worked really hard, and she was just so sweet and nice, and like I loved watching her build relationships with people. Like, she's someone I would want to be friends with in real life. So I just really liked a lot about her. So let's just go over a brief run of her time on the show. So she gets introduced in season 4, and she is introduced as kind of an antagonist to Christine, because we find out that we find out that Emma dated someone that Christine dated, and Apparently, according to Christine, there was an overlap, so Emma was the other woman. And then we find out more about the story as time goes on. So we get Emma's side, where Emma was like, no, they weren't together. Christine was like kind of going crazy stalker mode. And apparently there was this one time where Christine was like banging on her windows and yelling at her with her best friend and terrorizing her for like absolutely no reason. And then Christine makes up this lie that like, because she finds out that Emma was proposed to by this guy, and then Christine makes up this lie that she was proposed to, even though there's like no proof of this and no one knew about it. And Mary was like living with Christine, and Christine never mentioned it. And then Christine was like, oh no, Davina knew, but like Davina wasn't even part of the fucking Oppenheim group at the time and didn't know Christine. So like, make it make sense, Christine. Make it make sense. And then apparently Christine was like making up like fake Instagram accounts and messaging Emma to terrorize her. And then at the end, we get this fucking bullshit that is Christine bribing one of Emma's clients to leave her. Emma was just truly trying to live her best life, and she was. I loved her little sexy fling with that guy where they ate her empanadas in the house, and they did a business deal as well. And like, she was just like, there were some moments that I just thought, oh my god, she's like so funny. Like the time when she like ran to the edge of the infinity pool because she wanted a photo so she could like sell it to her client, and Chrishell was like, oh my god, you're gonna fucking fall. Like she was just like such a ray of sunshine most of the time. And every single time that Christine would come to like punch her down, like she dealt with it so well. She never stooped to Christine's level when she easily could have. She just spoke her truth, told what her side of the story was, and like just presented the facts basically. And even like her dealing with that whole like Christine bribery scandal was like so well done. Like she went about the right way. She didn't confront Christine in like a catty way. She went to the bosses, she told them the situation, she presented the facts, the client backed her up. Like it was really really well done. And she was just a very supportive friend. Like her and Chrishell actually built like a really sweet little friendship. And she like went there to support her after, you know, her and Jason broke up. And she was just so sweet. Like, I don't know. And the fact that she like, who is it that she like dissed? Ben Affleck, I think it was. Yeah, I don't know. She just had this something about her. I really liked her, and I really liked her run on the show. And honestly, I'm excited to see more of her. So A+ to Emma. She was just so sweet. And honestly, like, she knew her shit. Like, she was good at her job. She was good at multiple of her jobs, and she like handled herself so well. And I felt like she was a real adult, which I can't say for everyone on this list. So let's go to the other person who was introduced in season 4, and that is Vanessa. You know what? I like Vanessa. She's very middle of the road for me. I don't love her. I also don't dislike her. Like, I like her. She's fine. I think that she worked really hard. I love that she was in soap operas in Mexico. So random. Love that. She moved to America, she's like 10 years ago. And basically her story is that her sister died. I think she died in a car crash. I'm sorry if that's wrong. I can't remember specifically. But her sister died. And her sister, I think, was a real estate agent and would tell Vanessa how great she would be as a real estate agent. So Vanessa, in order to honor her sister's memory, decided to become a real estate agent and was working as like an independent real estate agent for like beachfront properties, I think. I don't remember where exactly. Like Orange County, maybe? I can't remember any of these fucking places. Anyways, so that's kind of her story. That's why she got into real estate. And then also she had this like life coach or something who like she kept with her, who like helped her deal with her sister's like loss. And honestly, like, I think that her story is really sweet, and it's very like, it's a very valid reason to be in real estate. It's a valid reason why she fights so hard to stay at the Oppenheim group. And I completely feel for her, like losing her sister and that pain. I think that that's a very great way to honor her sister's memory, and I thought that that was really sweet. So like she came in and she just had a really like sweet little story. She also came in as like Christine's friend, but the way that she came in as Christine's friend was not the way that Chelsea came in, because the difference between Chelsea and Vanessa is a lot more calm and articulate and well-spoken, in the sense that she doesn't just attack, like she just kind of questions, or like there were a few moments that were a little bit but like she did dig herself into Christine's business in season 4, much to my chagrin, but it was in a very like innocent, caring way, if that makes sense. Like she genuinely thought that there was pain within Christine, and she, I think, recognized, or whatever she saw in Christine, whatever pain and sadness she saw in Christine, she saw that in herself. She very much like related to Christine in that way, and I think that because she has this powerful story of coming back from this blow, this grief, this loss, and really trying to like make her life better, and she wants to improve other people's lives. So when she came in, it wasn't that she was antagonistic towards the other women, but she was just trying to help in the most innocent and kind of stupid way. Because again, like, I hate to say this, but like, Vanessa, it ain't your fucking business what people's relationships are with Christine. I love that she really went the extra mile to try to help Christine, in the sense that she literally brought her fucking life coach in to like help her with her trauma or whatever that Christine claims she's going through. That was great. That was so sweet. But like, at the same time, you have to acknowledge other people and what they want, and you cannot force relationships. And I think that Vanessa, though, had very, very pure intentions. Very pure. Like, I don't fault her as much as I fault Chelsea, but I will say, like, at times, yes, you did cross that line, and I can't really defend you, because like, at the end of the day, like, Mary's relationship with Christine is none of your fucking business. Heather's relationship with Christine is none of your fucking business. What I liked about Vanessa is that she came to realize that Christine was the problem. Like, she was very much innocent, and she didn't really, like, she came in wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and Christine was a good friend to her, and she wanted to help Christine. She saw a lot of pain in Christine, and she liked Christine, so she, she was on Christine's side. I won't say that she discounted everybody else, but she was on Christine's side. And then she kind of realized that Christine was like the problem, and in season 5 she switched gears and was very much on the other woman's side. And her season 5 plotline was her British love, who she moved to London to be with, I think, at the end of the season. Honestly, she didn't do much in season 5. I'm not gonna lie. Like, besides her British boyfriend and maybe selling a few houses, she didn't do much. She was very much like removed from a lot of the drama, and every time she would get brought into it, it was more like Christine's bullshit about nobody supports me. But like, no, like she built like good relationships with the other women, and yeah, like I saw a goodness in her, and I feel like she actually learned a lot, and she acknowledged like where other people were coming from a little bit more, and there was a pureness to her that I thought was, was good. So yes, okay, she did do the same actions as Chelsea on a more dialed down note, but because of the way that she kind of realized and changed her tune, I'm more inclined to forgive Vanessa and kind of see that as like growth. Also, she kind of was struggling a lot with real estate, but I don't really think she ever really went over that hump. Like, she was struggling a lot. Like, she wasn't selling as many houses as other people, but I hope that you're doing well in London, babes. Hi, babes. I hate how they do that. Honestly, not as much to say. As I said, I liked her. She was fine. And that's Vanessa. Okay, let's move on to Amanza. So Amanza gets introduced in season 2, and I really like Amanza. Like, I like her a lot. I have a lot of respect for Amanza, and I have a lot of sympathy, and I think that Amanza is just one of the sweetest and most hardworking people on that show. I think she works her fucking ass off, and I'm honestly shocked that she even has time to do this show. She goes through a lot. She still like remains there for her kids, and she still is a positive light, and she's still out there like not selling too many homes TBH, but she's really good at what's it called, setting the homes or whatever, staging. Amanza is like one of Mary's best friends, so like they've been friends for years. And so she comes to the Oppenheim group, and originally she's very antagonistic towards Christine, mostly because she feels like the way that Mary is treated by Christine is bad. And TBH, I agree. And she's very much against like Christine and Mary and Christine bearing the hatchet. And she's really supportive of Mary. And we get introduced to her. We find out that she is a single mom. She shares custody with her former partner. They got married really young. They had 2 kids, and it didn't work out. And throughout the course of the show, her family is a really important plot line for her. So to sum up the family stuff before we get back into the drama, her children's father just up and disappears, leaving her as truly a single mom. And her kids obviously devastated that their dad just up and left them with no explanation. And Amanza is always obviously upset because that's her kid's father, and she doesn't want him to just up and leave. And she thought that he was, a good dad and wouldn't do shit like that. And she goes through custody battles to get her kids for full custody so that they don't have to worry about it. She finds out that like he gave up custody without ever saying anything, and she just goes through a lot, and it's really hard to watch. Amanza is struggling as a single mom whose kid's father disappeared out of the picture. She is going through court battles. She's spending so much money on that, and on top of that, now she has to support her kids without any help from him. And honestly, like, Amanza's not the highest seller in the place, and she doesn't sell a lot of property, so she's not getting a lot of money. So she's doing a lot of staging on the side, and she's working long hours, and she's still got to be like a full-time mom. And I think she just gets a nanny like near the end of the show. But like, oh my god, like, she goes through so much, but she shows a lot of strength and resilience that I really, really respect. So like, I respect Amanza as a person and as a mother and as someone who is working her fucking ass off to do what she can for her kids and for herself. I genuinely really liked watching her, and she felt really real. Amanza, I hope you're doing okay. Let me go back to your stupid drama now on the show. And the surprising plot twist that no one saw coming, Amanza and Christine do become actually like decent friends. But the way that Amanza goes about being friends with Christine is why I respect Amanza immensely. She's friends with Christine, but she does not get involved in the other shit that Christine does. When Christine does something wrong, like, she doesn't shit talk Christine, and that's good. Yeah, that's what you shouldn't do. But she also doesn't go out and fight Christine's battles for her. And she doesn't go out and stick her nose in other people's relationships with Christine. She lets other people have the relationships they want to have with Christine, and she respects that, and she allows herself to have the relationship she wants to have with Christine. And I respect that. That's all that I needed from Chelsea and Vanessa. You know what I mean? Like, she's mature. She understands. And she's a good friend. She's a really loyal friend. Like, she's a very good friend to Mary and Chriselle and like all the women. And even Christine at certain points. Like, near the end, she just can't be friends with Christine anymore because she just can't be friends with someone who continuously does all this shit, and she can't justify it anymore. And like, I don't blame her. And when Amanza tries to do the right thing, which is to talk to your friend about their behavior and try to come and make them realize what they're doing, because that's like what you do if you're like a mature person and you feel like the other person is not being what you think they should be, or not acting in an appropriate way. You politely talk to them and you politely bring it up. That's what she tried to do, and Christine just fucking lost it on her. And then she was like, I'm done. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I tried my hardest. And like, I just respect that. I do. And honestly, like, Amanda, I respect you. I respect your hustle. I wish that you could sell more houses. I do. I'm sorry it's hard out there, baby. Like, I don't know how Mary keeps getting all these listings, but you fight the good fight, and you're good at staging, and you've got a creativity in you and a spark in you and a great personality. So they're all the newbies, and I'm gonna now stop here and film the rest later with the oldies, the OGs. Alright, welcome to day 2 of me filming this video. I'm gonna put it all in one chunk, but like, I just don't have the time or the energy to film the entirety in one time, so we're gonna see how many ladies we get done during this chunk before I decide to do something else that I need to get done. Alright, so last time we finished off on Amanda, so we're gonna move on to Chrishell, who is technically the newest in like season 1, but I like to think of Chrishell as the main character of the show, and so does the promos and all the photos and the producers. She is the main character. Like, I don't know if you noticed that a lot of the storylines are very Chrishell focused. She gets a lot of screen time, and she just has like a lot, like, we were introduced to the Oppenheim group with Chrishell, and we kind of see Chrishell grow. So, you know, there's a lot going on with Chrishell, so we're just going to talk about the things that she goes through throughout the timeline of this show. So when we get introduced to Chrishell, she is, you know, coming back after a long break on her real estate license, but she does have real estate experience, and she's joining the Oppenheim group as fresh blood. And obviously, as we know, Christine hates fresh blood. There's immediately a little bit of animosity in the group, and, you know, I can't even remember what the drama was between her and Christine, but Christine gets upset because, I don't know, she said something about Mary and Romaine's relationship, and how, like, Romaine doesn't pay his way or something, like when she was talking to Davina. And even though Mary had forgiven Chrishell for saying this, because Chrishell kind of rubbed it off as like, oh, I was just asking a question to Davina because I just don't know you, Christine never forgave her, and then it started the beef that's still fucking going on. It started the domino effect, and we're still dealing with the domino effect in season 5. So thank you, Chrishell, for asking a question about whether Romaine was a sugar baby. And the answer is no, Romaine is not a sugar baby. That man tries to pay his way. Even Mary won't fucking let him. So that is the answer to that. Anyway, so she comes in. She's really struggling at first to sell the $1 million homes. But as we've kind of seen with everyone else who comes in, it is hard. It's hard to, like, get your foot in the door, and it's hard when you start. It was hard for Vanessa, and it was hard for Amanda as well. But the nice thing about Chrishell is that we actually see her, like, persevere. And by the end of the show, she is one of the top selling agents in that real estate brokerage. And, like, she's actually doing really well for herself. But, you know, her story is she's married to Justin Hartley from This Is Us, a TV show I have never watched, but apparently makes people cry on the internet. And I did not know who Justin Hartley was, so I had to Google a picture of him because I was curious. And, you know, so she's married to him, and they bring it up at least twice a season, maybe even more. But we never see Justin Hartley. He is just a shadow in the background of Chrishell's life. I found it a teeny bit weird that we never got to see Justin on screen, just because everyone else's partners maybe don't have the same level of involvement as Romaine, who has talking heads, but they are seen throughout the course of the show. But Justin was never seen, and I thought that was interesting. They always, I think I remember my sister saying something about how, like, he was always filming, but, like, babes, how often are you really, like, how much filming, and why does it always coincide with the show? suspicious is all I'm saying. It's suspicious he was never really fully seen. I'm not saying that he doesn't exist and their relationship doesn't exist. I'm just saying it's weird that he was never on the show because everyone else's partners were at least in like an episode or two. Even Christine's fucking partner, who never says like more than 5 words, except for that one episode where he was like, "They're just jealous of you, babe." Like, even he's in this show. I just don't understand. Anyways, she starts off the whole beef with Christine. She is the beginning point because she starts off the domino effect that is the beef between Christine and Mary, which never fully gets resolved. And the Christine and Mary beef is also the Amanza beef in season 2. And then because that never gets resolved, there's a lot of bickering between everybody, and Vanessa comes in and tries to fix everything, and Heather now has beef with Christine. Anyway, she starts the domino effect is what I'm trying to say. But Chrishell, I like Chrishell. I do. I think that she's a really nice person. She's got a super sweet, bubbly personality. And she seems like she's a lot of fun, honestly. She seems like she like just wants to have fun in life. And she's really got like this enigmatic energy. But I also think that how do I put this nicely? I think that she starts more drama than she thinks she does. And not in the way that she thinks she does either. Like, she doesn't go out there and like shit talk people the way that, say, Christine would. But like, Chrishell will prolong dramas. Like, she will continuously stay mad at someone for a long time about like something that happened like years ago. Like, I'm not trying to defend anyone's actions against her. I think the way that Christine has treated Chrishell is fucking bullshit, and she has every right to be upset about it. But at the same time, like, she still brings up shit that happened like so long ago in the show. And I'm like, oh, guys, you know, like, we can move on. Like, with the whole, like, thing where she asked about Mary and Romain, like, she kind of was, like, asking a very personal, invasive question that was very insinuative towards, like, Romain being a sugar baby, and yet she, like, tried to deny it. So I think sometimes, like, she will do something, like, maybe not the best. Like, she's not anything, like, bad or anything, but, like, not the best. And then she, like, really won't own up to it. But then she, like, will really, really, really get upset when someone else does something to her. And, like, she will literally, like, not accept any kind of, like apologies are really hard for her to accept. And at the same time, I will say that, like, for some people, like Christine and even Davina, what Davina said to her at the wedding, like Christine's wedding, like, I get her not wanting to accept that apology. Like, she's very, like, stubborn, and once she's, like, set in her mind, she is set. But I think that sometimes, because she's so set in her ways and she's so like, she holds those grudges, and girl, like, I get it. Your girl holds grudges too. It's a flaw of my own as well. And I also will get very stuck in my ways, and I will also be like, I hate this person. And to be fair, a lot of my actions were when I was younger, and I'm trying to grow out of it. I'm trying to be better because I just don't like the way that I acted. But I get where Chrishell comes from, because, like, every once in a while, because she holds these, like, grudges and she's, like, very angry at people for, like, the past wrongs that have been done to her, sometimes she will react in a bad way. Not in a bad way, in a way that's not appropriate for the situation. Why are we fighting at real estate open houses, ladies? Are we not real estate agents? Are we not professional real estate agents? Why are we fighting at real estate open houses? Your open houses. Chrishell is, like, 90% of the time fighting at these open houses, and it's like, girl, I know you're not the only one doing it, and I know sometimes you don't start the fight, but, like, this is a professional event. Like, this is not the time, this is not the place. Like, she's not the only one who does it, okay? Mary and Christine, I know everyone's at least done it once, but Chrishell has a way of just having poor timing. Like, when she made that comment about whether or not Chelsea was a real estate agent in a fucking business meeting, and the way that she would like constantly like get mad at Jason for wanting to bring Christine back, his employee, and being like, well, like, she's a bully. And it's like, okay, yes, she is, but at the same time, like, Jason's trying to run his fucking business. So Christine's not the best, but she hadn't done anything up until bribing Emma's client that was actually negative towards the brokerage. She had just been a bit of a bitch, but she hadn't really done anything that would require her to be fired until that moment. So when Chrishell was out, like, really just going through the motions, and I get it, girl, like, I get it, like, it was upsetting, you didn't want Christine back, I understand, but the way she dealt with it was not like the best way to deal with that situation. And I think that she could have just like dealt with it better, and I think that she could have tried to be a little bit more professional in certain scenarios, because I just think that, like, I get that you're mad at like Christine or or Davina or whoever. It was mostly just Christine and Davina, but like, I get that you're mad, I do, and I understand why you're mad. You have every right to be mad, but at the same time, you are a professional real estate agent. You're working at a agency that sells $1 million plus homes. You can act a little bit more professional in your professional environment and just shit talk her at home. You know what I mean? I understand that the producers probably pushed a lot of this drama. I get it, girl. I'm guessing you didn't push all of it. Like, I know who the picker is. I know who comes in and starts the fights. It's Maya. I get it. They manufacture situations that make it so that in that moment you're gonna fight. I get it, but you don't have to take the bait. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot take the bait, and yet you do. So I think that that's kind of my criticism of Chrishell. I would say, like, overall, I like Chrishell and I like watching her, and I think that she works really hard. And honestly, Chrishell's been through some fucking shit, and I'm not talking about the drama on the show. I'm talking about real shit throughout the past, like, throughout the entire filming of this show, that makes me have a lot of sympathy for her. First of all, her dad died of lung cancer. That's awful. Her mom then died 1 year later. That's awful. Then her husband up and divorces her through text. That's awful. She's practically homeless. She doesn't understand why her husband and someone who she'd been with for literally like 6 years would up and leave her over text. And then he goes and tells everyone in the press about their breakup, and she just wants to be left alone. That's awful. Like, and then she has her whole like infertility arc. Like, she's dealing with a lot, and I get it. And then on top of that, she does have the stupid drama that's put in by the show and the way that Christine has treated her. And I understand why she's just going through it. And I have a lot of sympathy for the things that she had to deal with throughout the course of that show, because she dealt with maybe 3 of the most traumatizing things that could happen to someone: losing your parents within a year of each other, and also having your husband, who you thought you were going to spend the rest of your life with, treat you that shittily. Like, you're literally just not treated with respect. Like, oh my God. I have a lot of sympathy for her, and I know her backstory. Like, she was poor, and like, her family was low income, and she really did like pull herself up by her bootstraps, and she worked really hard to get to the place she is, where she can buy a home. And like, watching her buy a home was like so inspiring. And like, there's some things that I just think are really great about Chrishell, and I like how, even despite everything that she went through in her life, like, she's still a very positive, happy person that you want to be around and want to be friends with. And she's like still figuring herself out, and now she's dating G something. Go off, girl. Like, live your life. But yeah, she dealt with a lot, and I would not wish that on anyone in that show. And so those were like the actual things that happened to her. And then we have the minor dramas that I will just go through ever so quickly. We have Christine, who sent flowers to Chrishell when her dad died, and then got upset when she didn't respond right away about the flowers, even though she was literally dealing with the death of her father and going to the coroner, and she like didn't see the flowers because she was too busy dealing with the death of her father. And Christine made it about Christine. And then there was obviously her divorce and Christine shit-talking her, saying that she should have known it was coming, and then Davina telling her that like there's two sides to every story, and we have to think about what Justin is thinking about. Like, like cry me a river. Like, girl, I'm sorry. I don't, like, unless Chrishell was an abuser, which Chrishell was not an abuser, okay? I can tell you that right now. Unless she was an abuser, there is no reason, even if you've fallen out of love with that person or you want to be with someone else, there is no reason that you can't have the fucking decency to talk to them about it in person. There's no reason. There's literally none. You were married to that person, okay? It's not a fucking Hinge date. You don't just ghost your wife. Like, Davina, were you saying that because you wanted a piece of the Justin Hartley pie? I think you were, because you were single. Don't lie to me. Yeah, so that was Chrishell. I really like her. I also think Chrishell has like a funny kind of sense of humor. Every once in a while she'll say a line that I think is funny, or she'll do something that's like really funny. But yeah, no, she's a good person, and she didn't deserve all the shit that happened to her. So there's my analysis on the main character, Chrishell. And also, I gotta say, even though I've been talking nothing about the real estate prowess, she's a good real estate agent. I gotta say, she fucking hustled. When she was walking around the Hollywood Hills area and literally go into construction sites to like hand out her flyer, like, girl was hustling in those heels. Mad respect. Everyone else, I don't really know the full order of when they joined the Oppenheim group, so I'm just going on the order I think they joined at, so I might be wrong. So let's start with Heather. Heather's hard for me. Heather annoyed me in season 1, and I think it was because of her long-distance boyfriend, the hockey player. Because the way that, like, she would, like, literally abandon work to go answer a FaceTime call with him. I don't know. It was just a weird situation. Like, I get it. Like, I get that she, like, thought she was in love. Or, no, she was in love. I shouldn't invalidate that. She was in love. But, like, obviously, like, they were both not willing to take the step to make it work, if that makes sense. Like, there's only so long that you can go long distance. I do believe that long distance relationships can work, but I think that it can work up into a certain point. I think that, like, you can only go so long as long distance before one of you has to, you know, move, really, because, like, you can't go very far in long distance. Like, you can't move in together unless you have private jets and you can fly back and forth. But you're either a celebrity or Emma, who has a private jet. Like, nobody has that type of money. That's going to cost you so much money to fly back and forth constantly. Plus, if you want to buy, like, 2 homes, it's going to cost you so much money. And, like, what are you going to do if you want to, like, settle down and have a family? Like, I'm not saying that, like, that's a for sure thing you want to do. Like, I don't want to, but, like, other people might want to. But, you know, you might want to live together. You might want to live in the same freaking city. Like, you can get married and live on, like, different continents. Like, he literally lived in Europe. It's one thing if you lived somewhere in the United States, like Maya and her husband. That one I understood a little bit more. But even then, she reached her expiry date and was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to move to Miami. And I get it, girl, because, like, that must have been a really hard relationship to keep up to date, especially with the, like, 2 kids. When they're on a different continent, and considering the price of airplane tickets, and also this was pre-COVID, but if she had looked into the future and saw COVID, it would have also been a huge problem. So I just think that it was doomed from the start, and she let it affect her work, And I get it, you know, like, I'm not saying that there's no way you can possibly let anything affect your work. Like, you're gonna bring some of your baggage in, but at the same time, as I'm trying to say, it's professionalism. And there's a time and a place for your emotions. And sometimes you really just have to turn whatever is hurting you off for like 8 hours and just go to work, and then you come back and you deal with it then, because you're getting paid to do a certain job, and when you go in and you're doing your real estate thing, you don't get paid to FaceTime with your boyfriend while the stager is there. Also, she could be a little bit annoying. But as the series went on, I genuinely started to like Heather, and I liked her by the end. And I liked seeing her kind of go through an arc where, like, she actually did become good friends with Christine for like a minute there. And then Christine sort of shit-talking her. And what I respected about Heather was, as soon as that happened, she was like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm out. Like, this relationship is not for me. And I refuse to put myself in a scenario where I am friends with someone who would go behind my back and say horrible things about me and my relationship. And she, like, set that boundary, and I fucking respect that. Like, she did good. Like, and she did try to keep things professional, and I also respected that too. Like, I think out of all of them, Heather tried the hardest to keep things professional, but she would lose it obviously at times, as they all did. As I said, producers manufacture situations in order to make fights, thanks to Maya's help, usually. A timeline of Heather on the show. So she had long distance Boo. She broke up with long distance Boo. She met, oh no, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Heather, selling sunset boyfriend. Tarek. She met Tarek, and within a month of meeting Tarek, she moved in with him. I mean, to be fair, they lasted, and they did get married, and she seems to be a great stepmom, and she seems to be really embracing having that family, and really respecting the other parents involved, and it seems like it's a great situation there. They seem to be really in love. However, if I were to just say something real quick, as soon as I heard that, I was like, what? Because honestly, you might feel like you've known this person forever and that you have this enigmatic connection. But I would not recommend moving in with someone after like a month, because it doesn't usually work out in the way that it would work out with Heather. And I also think you just can't possibly know someone well enough within the time span of a month. Even if you spend every day with someone for a month, I still think you wouldn't be able to know them well enough to like live with them and to like make that commitment, that financial commitment, that life commitment to live with someone who you just met like a month ago. You gotta wait a little bit, you know? Really like let the relationship go and run its course. Like, it's okay to just like date and to just like be dating for a while. It's like, you don't have to like rush into things. The relationship is not gonna go anywhere if you wait a year to move in with each other or more. It's all about like, you know, what feels right to you. And I understand that like in that moment it felt right to Heather and Tarek to live together, and like, good, I'm glad it worked out. But I just want to say, like, I don't think we should be citing this example, because I just don't think that it works out most of the time. And I also just think that like we need to promote, like, this show does a shitty job of promoting just dating and just being in a relationship for a while and not taking any big moves and just getting to really know someone and like taking your time. You don't have to say you love someone after like a month. You can just say it when you feel it. You just feel it out, right? You just go at your own pace. And I understand that this is their pace, but like most people, I would think, don't go this quickly because it's a little bit insane to go this quickly. Like, just like take your time, you know? Like, there's no rush. The world, they're not going anywhere. If they really want to be with you and they really want to stay with you, they're not going to go anywhere. She wasn't the only one on the show to do it, and I'm sure that she's not going to be the last one to do it, but I gotta say, like, what happened to just taking your time, you know? Letting things come as they come and really just like experiencing the ebbs and flows of a relationship and not rushing things into marriage and living together and I love yous after like mere months of knowing someone. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, also, I mean, Heather she was a decent real estate agent. Like, I would say that she sold maybe like a mid amount in the brokerage. Like, I think that she did get some shit from like Jason and Brett for not selling more. I remember that being a plot in the early times, but I think that she did like try her darndest, and she did sell some good amount of stuff, and she seemed like pretty good at her job. So here's my analysis of Heather as a real estate agent, but like, do we really care? So I return on the show. She had her little moment where she was like BFFFs with Christine, and they like went to go get her dress, you know, and all this stuff. She like helped with Christine's engagement party, and then, you know, Christine went and sabotaged her relationship with Heather. Heather and Tarek are going strong as far as I know. After waiting a whole year, ladies, a whole year. Me being like, you can wait like a year and a bit to like move in with someone. They waited a whole year to get married, y'all. But then she, you know, Tarek proposes, and she accepts, and they go through her engagement and stuff like that, and her wedding, all very sweet. And, you know, she was like struggling and adjusting to being a stepmom, which I remember kind of rubbed Amanda the wrong way, because she was like, girl, like, I am a mom of two by my lonesome, and I am getting my shit together, and you're just like a stepmom who has the kids like half the time. So like, are you really struggling? But struggles are all valid for every person. So yeah, Heather, she was funny. She had like a fun personality. She was honestly kind of normal, if that even makes sense. Like, I feel like everyone kind of had a bit of a about them, but Heather was like, she was like normal. Like, she was like the everyman of the group. And there's like not much I really want to say about Heather, I'm gonna be honest. Like, that's all I really got. Like, she was fine. Like, I liked her. She like just was just living her life. She had a lot of boyfriend drama, and I would also like to point out that we did see Tarek. So where was Justin Hartley? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Chriselle, where was he? I think I'm gonna do the last three for another, yeah, okay, because the next one I have on the list is Christine. I'm gonna have so much to say about her, so I'm gonna quickly do Davina, and then I will be filming the next part another time. Okay, so Davina. Okay, so similar to Heather, I disliked Davina, but I disliked Davina a lot more than I disliked Heather in the beginning. And my dislike for Davina lasted a lot longer than my dislike for Heather. Like, my dislike for Heather was like literally only like season 1 and 2. Not even. Like, I stopped disliking her in like mid-season 2. But like Davina, first off, like, I didn't really care about Davina to begin with. Like, sorry to Davina, but like, she didn't really get a lot of screen time. She didn't really do a whole lot in the beginning. I do think she's a competent real estate agent. And I think that like, she's out there working. She seemed very docile and kind of like bland. Like, bland as in like, she's just a dude. Like, on reality TV standards, she's just like a dude, you know? Like, I would be Davina if I was in the fucking Oppenheim group in like season 1, like doing literally nothing. But like, then Davina gets a $70 million home listing or whatever the fuck. I think it was $70 million. And that's when Davina's drama kind of starts. Like, she starts to get some more screen time because of the $7 million home, and her and Jason are butting heads. And we see that she's really close with Christine and Heather for a minute there. And we kind of just see like this evolution of Davina getting more screen time because of the $70 million home. And Davina never sold a $70 million home. It was in fact overpriced, as everyone was saying. But we also learned that like Davina does have a broker's license, so Davina could go out there and like start her own brokerage, but like doesn't. But she threatens to do it many times, which I think is hilarious. I think that she doesn't want to do it. I think she just wants to threaten to do it. I don't think that Davina is a leader. I think Davina is a follower, which is why I think she is never going to start her own brokerage. Feel free to prove me wrong, Davina, but that is kind of what I see. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think everyone's a leader. I don't think everyone has that in them, and I think that's fine. I think that you have to be like a certain type of person to be like a leader, and honestly, being a leader seems like it kind of sucks. Like, the amount of responsibility you have. Like, I'm not really a leader type person. Like, I'm more of a follower, and I get that. Like, I would take on maybe a little bit more responsibility, but like the more responsibility you take on, like the harder it becomes to like make mistakes, if that makes sense. Like, it seems like a lot of pressure. That's my 2 cents. I don't think Davina will ever start her own brokerage, but if she does, I have been proven wrong, and I will admit that. Yeah, so there's her $70 million home. This gives her more screen time. And then Davina is kind of like a little shit starter for a minute there. Like, she becomes Christine's like a right-hand man, and they start shit together, which I thought was really interesting because like at first Davina doesn't seem like she's gonna be a shit starter. But then she really takes a hold of the shit starting in like season 3. And like to the point where like she's like out there like bullying Chrishell for her divorce. But then Davina leaves the Oppenheim group for a minute there and goes and gets another job. Presumably because of maybe like negative response to like her actions, and maybe feeling like she didn't belong in the Oppenheim group. I will say she does act the most professionally out of everyone, so like A+ to her. But then after her little stint away, she comes back, and comeback Davina comes back amazing. Like, I will say this about Davina, like, though I think that she kind of had a bit of a regression after the $70 million house, when she comes back, like, she actually genuinely, like, she's good. Like, she doesn't start shit. She makes it up with everyone. She just kind of chills, and she kind of just does her own thing, and she leaves Christine in the dust, and like she like defends, like she defends herself, and she defends other people, and she like speaks her mind. She like really owns her truth. Like, she's no longer a lackey. And like, I feel like this Davina with a little bit more oomph to her could start a brokerage. You know, like when she came back, like she was just so like, I genuinely thought that she like worked on herself. Like, she saw herself in season 3 and was like, I don't like the way that I'm acting, and I don't like the way that like I go about and handle situations. Like, I'm gonna do something about that. And she did. And I must say, like, I respect that. Like, she came back and she literally did not start shit at all. And like, there you go. Like, she was true to her word. And I think that's great. I think that she definitely like matured and learned and went through something off screen that made her just like act better in the office and like really be like a better person to her coworkers. Like, and I think that's great. And like, I love seeing that. Like, she is like really the only person in the show who like has that type of true redemption. Like, everyone else didn't really stoop as low as her, but like they didn't rise as high as her either. Like, she really came back. She was the comeback kid, and I respected that. I mad respected that. I also appreciated how like when she was sat down, like Christine to be like, hey boo, so I heard like you've been lying about me knowing about your engagement. And Christine was like, so like, why would you even say that you just like didn't know that? Like you were supposed to defend me. And she was like, what, bitch, what? I respected that completely. She was just like, excuse me? You want me to, like, it's none of my business. And rightfully so, that fight is none of her business. I mad respected that. I also respected that she like apologized to Chrishell for what she did. And I understand that it was like a late apology, but apology is an apology nonetheless. And she showed that she had grown and she really stuck true to that apology. And like, I respect that. I liked that. I will say like Davina doesn't seem to hold as close of a relationship with the other women at the Oppenheim group. And I think it's because she doesn't really fit in super well with them. And I think when she was in her villain era, I think it was because like she finally felt like she had kind of a friend in Christine, but upon further inspection, it was not a great friendship. But she realized that like she wanted to have like peace in the office and she just wanted to be liked by everyone, which is okay. Like it's okay to want to like be liked by your coworkers so they don't think you're assholes. Like that is completely valid. Like you, at the end of the day, you want to make your work environment good for you and you want to make your work environment good for your coworkers. And it's like good that she changed her behavior so that she could do that, because like at the end of the day, it's not fucking high school. It's not like, it's your fucking work environment, okay? Like I get it's a reality TV show, but like in reality, you know, outside of this reality TV show, you just suck it up. It's your work. You suck it up. These people don't know how to suck it up. Just go to work, do your work, and leave. It's not a big deal, guys. It's not. But yeah, no, she learned and grew from that, and I liked that. I also feel bad for the way that Chelsea like ambushed and then beat her down and completely gaslit her feelings on whether she was being bullied. Oh god, I'm so sorry about that, girl. Okay, so that's my thoughts on Davina. I'm now gonna stop and I will come back in a different outfit to finish off with Christine, Mary, and Maya, because I have more to say about them, but I'm not feeling up to a Christine rant right now. Alright, last part I'm filming. It has not been 1 week since I filmed this. You don't know that, mister. I've been having a moment, okay? But the moment's over and I realized what I was upset about, so we're fixing the problem and we're filming the rest of this. So, the one you've all been waiting for, the queen of drama, Christine. So Christine has been a part of the show since season 1. She was introduced right off the bat as our villain, and she remains the villain throughout the entirety of the series. And in my opinion, she was more of a tolerable, kind of dramatic villain. She was kind of fun in the first few seasons, and then by the end of the show, she goes off her fucking rocker. I don't know how much of this show is staged. I can clearly see some stage scenes, like when Vanessa's boyfriend came in and gave her a promise ring at her work, staged. Other things I think are a little bit more natural. I mean, it's reality TV, I can't really say for sure. It is what it is. But that being said, I came into this being like, I will judge them based on the reality TV characters. So, based on what Christine's reality TV character persona is, she's gone off her fucking rocker by like the end of season 5. And honestly, I'm having a hard time believing that the things that she does in the later seasons are part of a quote-unquote persona or are set up by the production company, especially the bribing of Emma's client at the end of the season. And the reason that I believe this is because I think that if they had set it up, like the production company, like the producers set this up, I have a feeling they would have had more footage and they would have not crunched it into the end of one last episode, and it would have been a bigger deal. Things like the flowers that we spent 2 episodes harping on that she sent to Heather's wedding, or not wedding, wedding recital, reception, I don't know, what are they called? Wedding brunch, something to do with her wedding. It wasn't our actual wedding. That felt a little bit more like we were doing a bit of stage shit, okay? We were really hyping these peeps up to, really say that the flowers were goddamn awful. And at the end of the day, no, you can be slightly peeved about it, but it was all a very big overreaction. I feel like the reaction to what Christine did in the last episode in terms of bribing Emma's client felt more natural and unplanned because we didn't get everyone's huge reactions. Emma didn't walk into the Oppenheim group being like, guys, let me tell you, and there was no footage of Emma getting a phone call from this client. There was, and I know Christine has said that they wrote this plot line to get her to leave the show because she was starting a realtor group with her husband who doesn't speak. And that's all fine and dandy, but other people left the show, like Vanessa, who just left the show, and Maya, who just left the show. They didn't write any plot lines. They just left the show. Maya started an entire company down in Miami, and there was no Maya villain exit plotline. I get that Christine was the villain. I do. But at the end of the day, no, I don't believe you, because people have just left the show before and there's been no plot line based around them leaving the show. They just left the show, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna go. This is what I'm gonna do. Okay, bye. Davina didn't even get any footage of her leaving when she was briefly gone between season 3. Why would the producers create an entire plot line, especially this plot line, to allow Christine to leave? Wouldn't a Christine leaving plot line be more along the lines of Jason and Brett find out that you started your rival company and now there's beef? I don't know, does that not seem more fitting for the situation? This feels very out of place. They didn't get a lot of footage of it, very much hammed into the last episode, which makes me think that if they had known about it sooner, they would have made more of a big deal. They would have gotten more footage. They would have had more episodes worth of this plot line. It's the same with Chrishell and Jason's breakup. We didn't even get to see any of Jason footage because they only got Chrishell's reaction because they were not the production company was told too late. They didn't get enough footage. So I can tell when something is a little bit more planned because they get a lot of footage of it. Whereas if something is a little bit like, oh god, shit, this happened, and they need to rush to get footage, it's a little bit ham-fisted. And that's what happened at the end. So, do I think Christine is a bad person? No, I don't. I think that she can do bad things and has been seen to do bad things. I think that she has a lot of problems that she needs to deal with in a constructive manner, but I do not think that Christine is an overall bad person. She has shown, in the earlier seasons at least, that she can be nice. She has done nice things. She was a very loyal and loving friend at the beginning. I just have a problem with how I think not only did she really embrace the villain role, but it also felt like a lot of the negativity that was coming towards her through this reality TV show and being cast as the villain really started to get to her. And I think that she kind of just toppled. I think that she kind of became a bad person, but she's not a bad person. I think that she was kind of pushed to an edge because, Christine was the drama starter, and we need a drama starter in a reality TV show. Hands down. Or else it's going to be really fucking boring, okay? So we need her. She's essential to the show. But by the end of season 5, I didn't want to see her face anymore. She felt not only she just felt inessential anymore, and she's supposed to be essential to the show because she is the drama starter. she is the one who manufactures all of the dramatic moments, basically. There's very few people who have dramatic moments that are not in relation to Christine. Even when people are having individual conflicts between each other, it is in relation to Christine in some way. She is the one that starts the drama. She started the original, like with Chrishell, who kind of manufactured, but Christine is the one who pushed everything. So Christine started the original big fight between her and Mary at Jason and Brett's party in season 1 that kind of made the rest of the season's dramas, everything was kind of tailed to that, because we had the Christine v. Mary v. Amanda plot line, and like so on and so forth. And I think that she was able to make good friends throughout the course of the show, which makes me believe that she is not a bad person. She was friends with Amanda, and she treated Amanda well. Like, she, would do stuff for her, and she was friends with Heather, and she treated Heather well, and she would, do stuff for her. Like, I think she's capable of having those types of friendships. I just think that she has a different view of friendship that can kind of clash with other people's views of friendship, which means that she believes in friendship that is blind following. And unfortunately, that's not how friendship works. It's a give and a take. And it's not about blindly following or agreeing with someone's opinions. It's about being supportive, but also it's about, like, if you don't agree with someone's opinion, you're allowed to say that. Like, you're allowed to, like, have kind of differing opinions, as long as you're respectful and you respect the other person and their opinions, and you're always supportive of them in any way, like, but not blindly supportive. There's a line, and it's like, they're not gonna not be friends with someone because you're not friends with them. That's not, like, you can't force people to do that, like, you kind of just have to, like, let it be. As long as they're still friends with you and they still respect you despite having that friendship, it shouldn't freaking matter. It's just like, she was so insecure, and I get it. Like, I am a very insecure person where I believe that everyone's just gonna wake up one morning and hate me. Like, I get it. But, like, that's something that I struggled with when I was a teen. And she's like a 30-year-old woman, and she hasn't learned how to properly, like, manage those emotions when they come up, because they will come up. There will be insecurities, there'll be beliefs that your relationship with that person is not as strong as you think it is based on blah 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 blah, and they will come up, and they're gonna come up. They're gonna be feelings that you come up, and it's natural to have feelings like that. It's fine, it's okay. Jealousy is not a bad emotion. It's how you use your jealousy. You can feel it, and it's okay to feel it, but it's how you use your jealousy and how you productively deal with your jealousy that is how it becomes bad. If you use your jealousy badly, that is when jealousy becomes bad. If you acknowledge your jealousy and be like, where did this jealousy come from? Break it down, kind of be like, why am I feeling this way? Is it because of this actual reason that I'm saying I'm jealous, or is it because of X, Y, and Z? And most of the time you're able to break it down and be like, no, okay, I'm just feeling jealous for my own insecurity reasons. They're not making me feel jealous. They have given me no reason to have any of these insecurities. It is all on me. And you have to kind of think about that. But instead of just, like, reacting and, like, feeling that anger and that comes with that jealousy, you need to deal with it constructively. And she just hasn't learned how to do that. And I commend Vanessa for attempting to bring her to a mind coach. But honestly, girl, she needs therapy. She needs to go and do a session of, months-long therapy to kind of deal with why she has these insecurities in her relationships and why she lashes out so much against her friends when she feels they're doing something, but the other person has no idea what they're doing. Because in Christine's head, it's a big deal. And I don't ever want to devalue someone's feelings, because if you feel something, it's not wrong. And that's something that's taken me a long time to learn. Your feelings are not wrong. They're not valid. It's just how you deal with those feelings that can be wrong and not valid. I don't understand why she was so mad at Mary for like wanting to bury the hatchet with Chrishell. Like, if you're defending Mary and Mary says, no, hey, look, it's fine, like, I'm good, why are you still attacking? Like, because your entire reason for attacking was to defend your friend, and your friend says it's fine, you just let it go, you know? And then, like, it's just like a continuous cycle of, why are you saying mean shit about Heather and Tarek? Like, are you upset and mad that they're getting more attention than you, so you're saying those mean things? Like, why are you saying mean things about Davina and how she wants to be accepted by the group? Is it because you're jealous that she has reconciled with everyone in a certain manner? Like, it's shocking to me that, like, she has this mindset of like a teenager, like, and I get it, I do, because I was in that place as a teenager though, but I am trying so hard to use those emotions constructively and to my best knowledge. Unfortunately for Christine, she's never learned how to do this or wanted to learn how to do this, so first emotion is attack, and it doesn't need to be. And like, I like that she starts the drama in the earlier seasons. I do. And I can't even go through and list all the drama because it feels like I'm going to be here for like 2 hours, because she's literally just always starting shit. That she has just dug herself so deep that, like, it's not even fun to watch her anymore. And she is supposed to be the fun reason you watch the show. Because without her, it's just a bunch of people selling real estate in pretty clothes. I think that she really needs to learn from this experience and introspect. And I know that it's not all her real self, the way that she's acting. I know that. But I also think that maybe so long you play a character in a reality TV show, you become that character. Moving a little bit to the side, I don't really like to talk too much about the relationships that these women have, because honestly, it's none of my business. And I don't know them personally. I've only ever seen clips of them being in the show. But I just gotta say, like, Christine's relationship to her husband doesn't make any sense to me. And it's not because of looks, it's not because of age, it's not because of any of those things. It's because of how Christine, like, talks about the relationship, and how, like, every time her husband's there, it's like, I don't know, he's weird dude. He's just a weird dude. And also, like, I don't know, Christine just makes comments about how she married him for money, and how she steals his credit card in the middle of the night so she can buy bags, and then deletes the transaction from his banking history. What? That's fraud, Christine. That's legitimately the definition of fraud. I know you're married to him, but that doesn't mean that you can't commit fraud against your significant other. Why would you ever say that on national television? Or Netflix? Why would you say that on Netflix? I just don't. Why? And then the comments where she's just like, yeah, I just married for money, all stuff. He's so rich. He's just so rich. It's like, okay, but what do you like about him besides he's so rich and you love him? Can you tell me what Christian is about? What are his interests? What does he like to do during the day? What do you like about his personality? Is it that he justifies everything he says? Because the longest I've heard that man talk was when he was trying to be like, no, Christine, they're just jealous of you and your life. It's like, no one gives 2 shits about Christine's life. No one's on Instagram looking at every single thing she posts being like, oh my God, I wish I was Christine right now. It's like, yeah, do I want to go away on vacation all the time? Yeah, totally. But I'm not out here being like, I just wish I was Christine. And I wish I had her life, and I'm like so jealous of her. It's like, no, it's not why I don't like you, bitch. It's because you're literally a bitch. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's because you've, like, annoyed me to no avail until I literally didn't even like having you there for drama, and I'm so glad you're leaving the show. God, she's so frustrating. There's been moments where I've, like, felt for her, like when she was explaining her birth and how it was like she almost died. I guess that's all I have to say. That's my rant about Christine. I just think that she needs therapy, just like a lot of therapy, and I think she needs to take a step back and kind of look at her reasoning for doing things and look at see if she's actually happy with her life or she's just pretending she's happy with her life. Okay, Mary. I honestly don't have that much to say about Mary. I like Mary. I think she's fine. I think she's a really hard worker. Her story is really inspiring that she was a single mom. She had a kid really young and she like pulled herself up from the bootstraps and made it this far. Like, very inspiring. I think her relationship with Romain is cute. I mean, obviously her buying a house without his consent is not cute, but I like them. Romain, I love Romain. He just is the funniest shit. Oh my god, he's like the best character in the show. Hands down. I think that, like, honestly, she's very normal. Like, she can get, she like does hold a grudge and she can get like pretty upset, but I also think that she is first and foremost mostly a professional. I think she tries her hardest to like put aside the drama and kind of really focus on like the world around her, and I like that in her. She's kind of just normal. Like, I think that there's not much I can really say besides like she's just normal. I like her, and I think that she honestly is like a very hardworking, productive person. I think she sells the most houses. She got a promotion and she's just really working her ass off, and she's trying her hardest to like get the things that she wants in her life that she was unable to get when she was a kid because of like her circumstances, and I am so happy to see her do that. So power to you, Mary. I also think that Mary is one of the most sensitive and like sweet people. Like, she is very supportive of everybody. She's always there to like talk things through, and she's like really good at that type of stuff. So she's good at speaking her mind. She's very articulate. I think it's like she's doing well. And lastly, best for last, Maya, me, and also Maya from this show. I don't know if it's because we share the same name or because she's just a bad bitch, but I love Maya. And the thing about Maya is she's very similar to Mary. She is very normal. She commutes a lot because her husband lives in Miami. She has like 2 kids throughout the span of the show. And, she's back and forth. She works really hard to sell her real estate. She's like very dedicated to her real estate, very professional in a lot of senses. She's the best dressed of everyone for the job, like not wearing skimpy shit. Like, it's not that I don't think you should wear skimpy shit. I think there's a time and a place for that, and you have to kind of dress professionally in a very modest professional way. Like, her and Davina understand that, and Mary too. But Maya's dressed well. She worked hard. She like had ambitions, and she wanted to get her broker's license, and she wanted to do I don't know, whatever she was doing with Jason and Brett, the flipping or whatever. But she had like ambitions, and she did that. She opened her own group in Miami, and like all the power to her. I hope she does well down there. She spoke her mind. She was very honest. And she was just all around, like, everyone liked her. Like, no one disliked Maya, and it's because Maya had this charisma to her. She was very likable. She was very funny. She said funny things. She had this like almost innocence that surrounded her. She wasn't there a lot either, which I think also helped because she was constantly flying back and forth to Miami, so she wasn't there for every single drama bit. But the thing that I liked about Maya was she was a producer plant, and I don't know if she meant to be a producer plant or not, but my suspicions is she was, and she played the part so well, because every single time, not the drama actually happening, but post-drama, when we would get the ladies together and Maya would be there, the person who asked the leading question to start off talking about the drama is always Maya. She makes a comment. She brings it up. She's very sly. She is so good at starting the post-drama conversations, a very important part of the drama. Christine starts the drama. Maya is very crucial to this formula because she continues the cycle of the drama. She gets people talking, and when people talk about things that they're upset about, they get more and more upset. They get angry. They start to think of more things that happen. Now they've got people justifying that they're upset. And or maybe they don't, maybe they're not justifying. Maybe there's a fight now. And that even adds to the drama because now we're picking sides. And the great thing about Maya is she says it and then she just sits back and she lets the carnage go. She is hands down the best part of this show. Because at first you don't realize she's doing it. And then when you get to like the mid, you like watched like a season and you're kind of sitting there and you're like, you're looking. And you watch more and you're like, wait, Maya is single-handedly carrying out the continuation of every single drama for episodes. She is carrying that on her back. Like Christine may be the drama starter, she may be the villain, she may be what the drama is all about, but Maya is why the drama sticks around. And I'm not gonna lie, Garth Davies, what are you doing? Oh, my hamster's literally such a little shit. Point being, she is great. I love her. I think her sense of humor is also really funny, and she's got these like really snappy remarks. Like she can be savage, but like she's like this low-key savage where it's like she just says it and then it's like she's so unapologetic about it, but no one cares because she's just got this aura about her where it's like she can say something kind of like savage and nobody really like, everyone's just like, good one, Maya, like, or she's just like, oh, I misunderstood what I said. Like she's got the accent going for her. I just think she's hilarious. Honestly, that is the baddest bitch in the show because like she knows what she's doing. I know what she's doing. The producers love what she's doing, and she single-handedly carries the drama. And honestly, there's not much else to say about Maya. Like, I think that her coming forward about her struggles with having a kid and then having a kid and, you know, unfortunately her miscarriage, I think that she had a lot of like depth and understanding, and she was very mature in a lot of senses, and I think her maturity is why like she was able to, you know, make a sly comment or something like that and then just sit back and watch everyone else go about it because she was, you know, just so removed from most of the drama. Because Maya never did anything that would start a huge drama pool, and no one ever seemed to really care when she would make a little comment. It's just that everyone was on good standings with her the entire time, and that is something that I don't think anyone else can say. Like, she was on decent standings with Christine for the longest time, and I think that, like, they only kind of started drifting away because Christine was just drifting away from everybody at Oppenheim. And that's another thing. Maya was able to play Switzerland so well that she was able to get both sides talking about the other side and then report to the other side what the other side said. And she was able to just bounce around so seamlessly and just start shit on every corner that it was like, honestly beautiful to watch. Like, she nailed it and no one ever caught her. I mean, it's all on video and I'm sure that the producers planned a little bit of it, but like the ladies never cared enough to like call her out on it and didn't like think that she was doing it maliciously because of the way that she brought it up. But oh my god, 10 out of 10. I will say, like, I think that Maya is a little bit more on the traditional side, and I do see that as like a little bit of a problem. I think that my sister pointed this out, and I did notice that in the reunion when Chrishell mentioned like the new person she's dating, Maya didn't seem super down with that. She really didn't. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because she has, you know, negative thoughts about any sort of same-sex relationship. I don't know why I'm having so many hard times saying this. Or if it was because of how quickly Chrishell moved on from Jason, considering how serious they were. I can't say for sure, but Maya has never done or said anything, to my knowledge, that is offensive in any way. She's just starting drama. I mean, if she has, I will no longer stand, but I will stand right now. I think she's great. Yeah, overall, that is my thoughts. We finally got here. It took me forever to film this. I'm trying to get better. I know this is going to come out like a month after the last video I posted, and that's on me. I've been having a little bit of a up and down month. I've been really busy, very tired, and just I wasn't feeling motivated or productive, and the more I would put this stuff off, the more I would get into a depression cycle of not doing things. So it's a shoot myself in the foot situation, but I'm back. I'm gonna try to, keep up that 1 week posting because I liked doing that. But this video is done. I doubt anyone made it this far, but let me know what you guys think of all these people and SLA Sunset. I am excited to hear about that. And that'll be all for right now. Thanks for watching. Bye.